Hi, everybody. So here's what we're going to do today is Tuesday. Um, I just wanted to give you, this is going to be super short. You can rewind it as much as you want. But we're going to start with, well, first of all, I have a little warning here to make sure that you are caught up before you keep going. I can't stress this enough. Some of you are skipping around, you're missing assignments from the last folder. So before you keep going, check your grade book over here on the right, and go to the date that is furthest back, and catch up. There's a couple exceptions in this class. If you came in like 3 weeks late, obviously there's some things that I'm going to excuse you from. But what you want to do right now is make sure that you are caught up. So now for part one, we are going to, this is very self-explanatory. You're just going to take this quiz here that you click. You're going to join the class. And when you click that, you are going to get something that looks like this. It's a live quiz, but it's a learning quiz. So you can take it as many times as you want. So don't stress out too much. But when you make a mistake, you need to make sure that you go back and look at where it is. You might want to have this page open to your maps, because you do need to be able to look at these places and recognize. You have to know the difference between Southeast Asia, right down here, and East Asia, for example, and Sub-Saharan Africa, Sub-Saharan or Saharan or North Africa. So you need to know your regions really well. There's some countries too on this little test, and that shouldn't take more than 10, 15 minutes. Okay. So you're going to review these places, then you're going to go down to part two. Now for part two, you want to do, it's several steps. You're basically going to go to a discussion, but in order to get there, you need to know what you're talking about really well. So I have a lot of articles here that I've collected over the years. I give you, by the way, the media chart that I always pull most of my stuff off of. I'm a big proponent of reading all kinds of, looks like I put the wrong link in there. What I meant to give you is this. I worry a lot about people only reading things that they agree with. A lot of adults in your life are doing that. They're only reading things on the left, right? Whoa, that's weird. I didn't mean to do that. Cancel. Sorry. Anyway, this is sort of, it's showing, extreme left, it's showing extreme right. Things that are pretty neutral, they may skew left, which means the topics they cover tend to be more liberal topics, like social programs or immigration or healthcare. And these articles may tend to skew to the right, which means they cover topics like business, and military, things like that. So, but the most important thing you need to do is read all of it in the middle. Now, the thing about this chart is that you need to understand that while it's good to read a variety, you want to try to stay away from the bottom. The bottom, as you can see, the whole bottom, by the way, just because it's on the left or the right doesn't mean it corresponds to the left or the right. It's just showing you what the rectangles mean over here, and it's showing you what the baseline means. So basically, stuff down here, basically the lower you get is like full on propaganda, stuff that is just not, you can't document it. It's mostly opinion, misleading. It's not telling news so much as a narrative. It's got a story to tell, and it wants to make sure that you are understanding what you need to believe. So you have to be careful about stuff that's low down on this media chart. And all this just to say that I try to keep you up high, which is a little bit more complex. These articles are longer, but they're much more accurate, fact-based. Obviously, AP and Reuters, the very top one, which you can barely see. AP and Reuters are really maybe kind of boring because it's just fact. Statistics, right? How many people died? Where were they? How do they, it's basically, there's not a lot of opinion in there. The lower you go, the more opinionated and the more simplistic it is. Too simplistic almost, big generalizations. So anyway, just refer to this chart as much as you want to kind of see, where it, some of my favorites that I show a lot are foreign policy, because this is a class about all kinds of other countries. Foreign policy is one of my favorites. The Economist is very good. and NPR, which I listen to on the radio, 89.5. If you want to ever learn something and just drive along, you learn something new every 5 minutes. It doesn't mean that you're not going to like get to an opinion section, somebody saying something that they believe, but you need to be able to ask for evidence and look and see if the interviewer is going to sort of, question where they're getting their sources and things like that. So you still need to be a very, question everything you read, but stay up high. That's all I have to say about that. So anyway, you are looking at that. The reason why I'm showing you that is because you'll notice as you go through all of my my journals that I look at, I subscribe to a lot of different things, and I collect them in Flipboard. BBC is one of my favorites. It's a British. It's kind of the equivalent of NPR, which is like it's the PBS, People Who Brought You Sesame Street, right? NPR is the BBC equivalent in England, British Broadcasting Company. We Forum Courts, LA Times. It's kind of all over. The Telegraph is a little bit more conservative. It's a British paper, but very good. And same with, CNN leans more to the left, but still more analysis than some. So what I want you to look at, though, is the titles and to keep in mind what we've just read. So find an article that really does interest you. Scan them, read the titles. CNN tends to be a little lower, meaning it's kind of simplistic. So if you're looking for something more easy to read, Bloomberg is higher up, PBS, BBC is a little higher up too. But they're all very good. Some of them are videos. Anyway, pick an article that you like, read it really well, take notes on it, because what you're going to do is you're going to want to summarize it in two different ways. After you read it carefully, you take notes. Number two, you're going to go to your My Maps and you are going to plot that place. Make sure I would uncheck chapter 1 over here, uncheck chapter 1, and make sure you're in chapter 2. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Make sure the blue line is in chapter 2, and then just go to, okay, where was it that your article was? You want to find it. If you're not sure where Japan was or whatever article you read about, just put it in the search bar, and you want to write what's happening. So, tell at the top what your summary, what your article title maybe was, and then you just want to summarize it in the description. Okay, so summarize it in the description, and feel free to add your little flag if you want to do all that, but that would just be extra. So once you've done that, then you are going to go down to this discussion, and you want to read the rubric below. Read the rubric because it's important that you understand how you are being graded. You want to make sure that there's some weird formatting that happened here. I don't know why that is, but I will go back and fix that. This is what you need to write about. It's showing me that you need to show that you understand what you read about, whether it's how it's relevant. Use appropriate terminology. Give some examples of anything you've read. Make connections. And then here's something different. Last time in the last discussion we did, I didn't have you do this, but now this is when we have discussions in class and we're doing like a round table. You need to ask a question to the group that's going to make them take this topic to the other level. So, ask the question in the end of your summary. Say, hey, how does this relate to other antinatalist policies? Or how does this relate to the country of whatever is the connection? You want to think of the connection and then ask an open-ended question. Okay? So, and then other people, the second thing you're going to do is go and read a couple other students. And you're not going to be able to see what other people have written about until you've written yours this time. So you need to write really well, and then end your paragraph with a question to kind of promote the discussion, and then go through and respond to a couple other people. And then once you've done that, I want to prove to me not only that you replied to them, but that you understood what they said by going back to your maps, and you're going to plot the place that you read about and that you learned about. Okay? So anyway, feel free to rewind this as much as you can. Make sure you go through all 5 of these steps, and especially, make sure that you read this rubric really well so that you understand how to get a 6. Okay? Bye.